Balram Resh devotees are to Maharaj. Maharaj, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. So everyone's there now? How many people do we have online?
Balram Kinkar Prabhu, I would like you now to answer the Maharaj. Maharaj, there will be couple who will be sitting together. So in the list you may find less number, but actually there will be the number details otherwise will be given by Balram Kinkar Prabhu, who is the group leader here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dadvat Pranam Maharaj. At present around 27 devotees are on the 26 devotees are on the connection. And in that one, some are with Mataji and Prabhus together. So totally maybe around 35 I expecting devotees are there, Prabhuji, Maharaj.
Okay.
So I will update at the last, after the class, totally what are the present of devotees present in the class. I will update Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, so we welcome everyone to the Bhakti Sastri course of Sri Isopanisad. Have they already studied part of the course? Balaram, Prabhu? Balaram Kinkara? Did they already study Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Maharaj. We have
Yes, Maharaj, they have completed their Bhagavad Gita, all the units.
Units, first and second and third units we have gone through, Maharaj.
So
Nectar of devotion also we have gone through.
Just nectar of instruction, not yet?
No, it was combined with the
I don't know. Are you hearing? Is my sound okay? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you. Balram Kinkar Prabhu, your voice is not clear. Maharaj, actually, Nectar of Instructions and Isopanisad together was one unit. So in that, Maharaj will be now taking Isopanisad, and then we have to plan for the Nectar of Instructions also.
All right. So we have two classes today, right? We have the second class after about how many hours? About 4 hours or something?
2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, Maharaj.
Yeah. So your time will be what?
Our time here is 2.5 hours difference, Maharaj.
2.5 hours
Indian time.
Okay. So we're having class tonight. I think it's 6:30 my time. I don't know.
Yes, Maharaj.
What time is it there?
Here it will be around 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Afternoon.
Okay, so earlier, right, okay. So that's okay for you? Everybody's
Yes,
all right with that? 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, very good. So we're going to study the Isopanisad now. And I have one article which I wanted everybody to read. How can I
You
send?
can share, Maharaj. You can share or I can share.
Share it. Let me see.
There will be green button.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And then, what do I do? Let me see. Folder applications. Oh, it's a bit difficult for me to find it here. Can you see it?
yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so this is the teachings of the Vedas. We'll do this first, and then after we go through this, if we have time, then we'll share the article. Because the article which I have is from the Back to Godhead magazine. So I have to put it on the computer screen. So we'll begin first of all anyway, going through the introduction here. This is a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in London, 1969, October 6th, at Conway Hall, London, England. Actually, there was a series of lectures which Prabhupada gave. The devotees gave some of the titles and Prabhupada maybe modified some of them. I became devotee 71, so I was not there. I missed these lectures. And they didn't get a lot of people coming for them, but fortunately, they did take advantage to record the lectures. And this lecture on the Vedas, Introduction to the Vedas, Teaching of the Vedas, very nice, very important for us. Prabhupada actually wrote the Isopanisad. He wrote the Isopanisad before he ever went to America. He did his purports. It was all published in his Back to Godhead, his original Back to Godhead paper, which he was printing in India. So that was long before he went to America. After he went to America, then he told devotees that we'll get these articles, which I wrote for Back to Godhead, and we can put them together in the book. And then, after that, then they added also this lecture on teaching of the Vedas. So we'll go through this lecture first, because this is the introduction, the first lecture. We're just going to look at the introduction, and then this evening we'll look at the invocation. Right? We're going to take it pretty much one class, one mantra. The other schedules like that. So, but first of all, we'll begin here with the introduction. Now, I like to ask some devotee to read for us. I don't have your names yet. Would somebody like to volunteer to read?
Maharaj, it is can I read, Maharaj?
Yes, okay.
No, Maharaj, whole screen is not there.
Huh?
Whole screen is not there. It starts from ladies and gentlemen on the top. Srila Prabhupada, when he wrote or when he gave lecture, that's not visible.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's there?
Oh, that's the beginning?
Yeah, that's the beginning.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now it's okay, Maharaj. Haribol.
Okay. So who's going to read?
This is Uttam Krishna Das Maharaj. Can I read out?
Okay.
Hi Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Maharaj at your divine lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev. Teaching of the Vedas. Delivered as a lecture by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada on October 6, 1969 at Conway Hall, London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, today's subject matter is the teaching of the Vedas. What are the Vedas? The Sanskrit verbal root of the Veda can be interpreted variously, but the purport is finally one. Veda means knowledge. Any knowledge you accept is Veda, but the teaching of the Vedas are the original knowledge. In the conditioned state, our knowledge is subject to many defenses. The difference between a conditioned soul and a liberated soul is that the conditioned soul has 4 kinds of defects. Maharaj, can you scroll it down, please?
Okay.
Has the Vedas 4 condition, the condition soul. Okay. The first defect is the must commit mistakes. For example, in our country, Mahatma Gandhi was considered to be a great personality, but he committed many mistakes. Even at the last stage of his life, assistant warned Mahatma Gandhi, do not go to the New Delhi meeting. I have some friends, I have heard that there is danger, but he did not hear. He persisted in going and was killed. Even great personalities like Mahatma Gandhi, President Kennedy, there are so many of them make mistakes. To error is human. This is one defect of the conditioned soul.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So Srila Prabhupada, in this paragraph, what have you learned from this paragraph? What knowledge, what information has Srila Prabhupada given us in this first paragraph? Who would like to say? Prabhu, you read, you can tell me. What was the first, what did Prabhupada say first of all?
Prabhupada said, first of all, this human nature is to doing mistake, error. Regardless of their position, regardless of their social status. They are bound to do the mistake.
Well, he said that comes later on. But before that, first of all...
The Vedas, that knowledge, what the human has human does 4 kinds of mistakes. So, this committing mistakes is one of them.
Yeah, well, first of all, he talks about what are the Vedas, right?
Yes, correct.
Right? He's talking about what are the Vedas, and then he talks about what is the meaning of the word Veda. Veda means what?
Veda means knowledge.
Right. So sometimes we say, Prabhupada will sometimes say, Vedanta means what?
Who is a scholar in Vedas?
No. What's the meaning of Vedanta? Veda means knowledge.
Vedanta means conclusion of Veda.
Veda means knowledge, and Anta means end, right? The end of knowledge, right? And the end of knowledge is what?
Krishna.
Krishna, right. The end of knowledge is to know Krishna, right. So Prabhupada explains here, gives us, he said Veda could give many different meanings, but he said the real meaning is Veda, it's knowledge. And he said any knowledge can be accepted as Veda. Not just, what we say, the scriptures, but any knowledge could be understood as Veda. So like that, he's talking. And then he talks about our conditioned state, right? So from Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 kinds of souls, right? What are they?
Jivatma and Paramatma.
Yeah, but living entities, 2 kinds of living entities.
Siddha and Baddha.
What? Nitya...
Siddha and Baddha. Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha.
Okay. Yeah, there's a conditioned soul and the liberated soul. Right? Prabhupada said our conditioned state. We're the conditioned souls. We're the Nitya Baddhas. He said our knowledge is subject to many deficiencies. Our deficiencies. We're deficient in many ways. So one of is discussing here about the difference between the conditioned and the liberated soul. The liberated soul, he doesn't make mistakes. Right? If you're the liberated soul, he's perfect, never wrong. But we are not. We are the conditioned souls. So first defect is he must commit mistakes. We have a saying, maybe you've heard it in English, we say, to err is human. Right? Have you heard that before? To err is human. And then we add a second half to it, we say, to forgive is divine. So like that, we tell people, it's natural to make mistakes. To err is human, it's natural to make but to forgive someone, you have to be really godly, you have to be pure to be able to forgive them. So Prabhupada gives some examples about making mistakes. Talks about Mahatma Gandhi. Prabhupada, of course, before he became a devotee, he was a follower of Gandhi. And just before Gandhi was assassinated, Srila Prabhupada, just like a few weeks before his assassination, Prabhupada had wrote to him, and Prabhupada said to him, now that India is free from the British rule, now India is independent, he said, now you should preach the Bhagavad Gita. He said, you should give up all this politics and just teach the Bhagavad Gita. Because Mahatma Gandhi was a great advocate of Bhagavad Gita. He always carried Bhagavad Gita with him. So Prabhupada wrote to him like that he should take up full-time preaching. But he didn't do it. so he made the mistake, and then even he was warned that day, and that evening he was killed. So people make mistakes, even big, powerful, important people, they can make mistakes, they get things wrong. So, have you ever made a mistake? Let me see.
Every day, every moment.
Every moment?
Every day, every moment.
Do you want to tell us some mistakes you made? Can you share with us maybe something? Something you... What about... We'll ask somebody... What about Sushanta Samo? Did you ever make a mistake? Tell us some mistake you made. I made a mistake the other night. I was laying sleeping, and somehow something happened. They were playing some music outside, and I woke up. And I thought it was time to get up for Mongol Arti. And I got up and I took my bath, and then I came back and I was sitting down to chant japa as I usually do before I go to Mongol Arti. And then I thought, well, it seems very quiet. And then I looked at the time and it was only half an hour after midnight. You know, I was thinking it was like 3:30 or something, but it was only 12:30 in the night. It's a mistake. Yeah, we make mistakes. You make a mistake. Sometimes maybe you're driving and you do something wrong. It's easy to make mistakes when you're driving. Anybody like to reveal with us some mistake they made? You put salt instead of sugar in the chutney or in the sweet rice? Or you put too much salt in the dal? Some examples? Let me hear somebody speak.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Pranam.
Yes.
Just now I made a mistake. I kept the mic speaker on, and then I was calling my family members to set up the mobile for the. I kept the mic on.
So you should have turned the mic off, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we make mistakes. Prabhupada said, to err is human. We're conditioned souls. Conditioned souls we're human, but we're conditioned. And this is one very common defect, making mistakes. So, let's go on. Someone can read second paragraph. Different person. Someone else read second paragraph.
Another defect to be illusion. Illusion means to accept something which is not Maya. Maya means what is not. Everyone is accepting the body as the self. If I ask you, what are you? You will say, I am Mr. John. I am a rich man. I am this, I am that. All these are bodily identifications. But you are not this body. This is illusion.
This is illusion. So we're all conditioned souls, we're illusioned. And Prabhupada is giving us the example of the big illusion, that we think we're the body. Any other illusions? Did you have any experience? Some illusion you made? Maybe out of illusion we were thinking, we think, I'm a very great scholar. I'm very good in mathematics, or I'm very good in talking or something. But then we meet other people who are so much better than us. So that's kind of an illusion. And someone may be an illusion that I'm very beautiful, or I'm very good looking. And then you see other people, they're so much better, so much more. And so that This is our illusion. So we're often in illusion. Can you think of some examples of illusion in the scriptures? Anything you read in the scriptures where somebody became illusioned?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
That once Duryodhana was in the Mayasabha. That time he saw water on the floor, but he illusioned and it was a floor only. And when floor was there, there was water. He illusioned like that.
Okay, very good. Yes, right. Duryodhana went in the palace and then people were laughing at him and he got really upset when they were laughing at him because he was all wet, falling in the water. Yes?
One more example, Dhruva Maharaj, when his brother Uttama got killed, he fought with the Yakshas. So the Yakshas also has created some illusion.
Oh yeah, the Yakshas, they have magical powers, right? And when they came to fight with Dhruva Maharaj, they used many mystical powers. They released so many things against Dhruva, described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the battle between Dhruva Maharaj and the Yakshas. Yeah, nice illusions, powerful illusions. How did Dhruva Maharaj overcome them? Do you remember? What did Dhruva Maharaj do to overcome the illusion?
Sorry Maharaj, I don't remember.
Somebody know? Who's read that pastime? I'm sure you've all read it.
Maharaj, probably he prayed to Lord Hari.
Yes. Yeah, he took shelter of the Lord. And when he took shelter of the Lord, then he overcame all that illusion. Right. We want to, if we're in, how do we get out of illusion? We have to surrender to Krishna. Krishna can conquer all the illusion, right? Krishna is more powerful. So, illusion, one of the defects. All right, someone else read more?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, even the Lord Chaitanya Leela, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, when Lord Chaitanya wants to go to Vrindavan, but Nityananda Prabhu doesn't want him to send him to Vrindavan. So Nityananda Prabhu made an arrangement with all the cowherd boys. If Lord asks, tell him, this is Vrindavan. But actually it was only Prabhupada Dham. So he made bewildered to Lord Chaitanya to bring back again in Mayapur.
Maybe that's cheating. Lord Chaitanya cheated him. We're coming to cheating. We could say illusion because Lord Chaitanya asked, is this? Or they told him this is the Yamuna, and Lord Chaitanya, he offered prayers to the Yamuna. He thought it was Yamuna, but actually it was the Ganga, right?
Yes, yes.
So he was illusioned about what's the Ganga and what's the Yamuna. Yeah, very nice. And we hear about the illusion of Brahma, when Krishna stole away all the cowherd boys and the cows. Brahma Vimohan Lila, right? Lord Brahma is an illusion. He thought he had stolen all the cows and cowherd boys. He came back and he saw Krishna was there, he'd taken their place. So it bewildered his mind. The illusion was too much for Lord Brahma. So there are quite a lot of examples. So this illusion is a common defect of conditioned souls. And our illusion, we identify with the body. We're thinking, this is me, I am this body. So this is a big illusion. All right, we'll go ahead. Third defect.
Here, Hare Krishna. The third defect is cheating propensity. Everyone has the propensity to cheat others. Although a person is fool number one, he possesses himself as very intelligent. Although it is already pointed out that he is illusion and makes mistake, he will theorize. I think this is this. But he does not even know his own position. He writes books of philosophy, although he is defective. That is his disease. That is cheating.
Thank you. So cheating, I think either we cheat others or we're cheated. Prabhupada would say only two kinds of people, the cheaters and the cheated. So either we're being cheated or we cheat others. So this is not very nice. We don't feel good when somebody cheats us. Sometimes, the woman will complain, the woman will say, my husband cheated me. Right? Man does something, the woman gets all upset, my husband cheated me. Or sometimes it's the woman cheats the husband. This goes on in family life. It goes on everywhere in the material world. Cheating and cheaters. So there's a lot of cheating going on. And where do we see often find cheaters? What are they doing?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, politicians are cheating day in, day out.
Okay, politicians can be big cheaters, yeah. What do they do?
They mislead and they try to grab the financial part of the society. They grab the power.
Okay.
And giving the false promises to the society.
Yes, false promises, right. So, politicians, of course, are not the only ones cheating. Who else often cheats?
So-called Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the so-called man gods.
Yeah.
In India, so many. There are so many is there.
Right.
They declare themselves as a god.
Yes. Yes. So many man-made gods, the people, they want to control. They say, I will make you God, just follow me, I will make you God. Pay me the money, I'll give you the mantra, magic mantra, you can become God. These kind of people. Yeah. So in spirituality, there's a lot of cheating also going on.
Maharaj, Maharaj, I feel the biggest cheating in this world so far, is like Charles Darwin doctrine. That is the biggest cheating doctrine I feel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a Darwin theory. It was a theory. It wasn't a doctrine. It was a theory. Darwin's theory of evolution. There was no actual proof to the whole thing. But still it got accepted. It got accepted, taken in by so many people, so many worldly, materialistic people, and they promote this theory. And even you find it in Christian schools, so-called religious schools, where they teach about God, they also teach about evolution. So yeah, it's a big fraud, a lot of fraud. There's a lot of fraud, a lot of cheating. One of our devotees, Judha Karma Prabhu, he does a lot of research into archaeology and different artifacts which have been discovered. And he's found a lot of evidence which has been covered up. just to present the theories of evolution and the theory that man began only a few thousand years ago. And there's so much cheating going on in the name of science, in the name of research. It's all so much, it's so corrupted. And we saw also, even at the time of Lord Buddha, there was cheating. The Brahmanas were cheating. Because the Brahmanas were cheating and encouraging animal slaughter, that's why Lord Buddha came, to stop all the cheating. So cheating is a big defect in the material world. And we'll hear the last defect. Someone read.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Lastly, our senses are imperfect. We are very proud of our eyes. Often someone will challenge, can you show me God? But do you have eyes to see God? You will never see if you have not the eyes. If immediately the room becomes dark, you cannot even see your hands. So what power do you have to see? We cannot therefore expect knowledge, Veda, with these imperfect senses. With all these deficiencies in conditioned life, we cannot give perfect knowledge to anyone. Nor are we ourselves perfect. Therefore, we accept the Vedas as they are.
Okay, so the fourth defect, imperfect senses. Would someone like to give an example how the...
Prabhupada give one example, Maharaj.
Yes.
That when there is a rope in a dark, person feel that it is a snake.
Oh, yes. Yes, very good. Yeah.
Sometime in dark, somebody hold the snake and he feels it is string, and he try to just hold that and move out from the area.
Yes, right. Very good. Nice example. And then someone else? Anybody have another example? Maybe in your own experience?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Our eyes, we cannot see behind the wall what it is there. So means our senses are also limited. So can see that it is imperfect.
Okay. Yeah, we can't see behind the wall. Can we see in the dark?
No, we can't see.
Are any animals able to see in the dark?
Animals, they can see in the dark.
Really? All the animals?
Some animals.
Yeah, some animals, like cats and like that, they have eyes to see in the dark. Yeah, so we have imperfect senses. Sometimes we mistake one person for another. You know, people think, oh, I thought that was so-and-so. Oh, it's somebody else, you know. We get somebody wrong. You can't recognize one person from another. So imperfect senses, we have that problem, not only with seeing, also with hearing. Oh, I thought someone said that. Oh, I didn't realize they said that. Oh, I thought they said something else. So hearing, or seeing, touching. We may touch something, and you know you can't see it. You don't know what it is. You just touch it. You didn't realize it's hot. You may burn yourself. You didn't realize it was hot. And so touching, and then smelling, tasting. You taste something. If you've taken something very, very bitter, and then the next thing you take something, it tastes a little sweet. Because you took something very bitter, so it influences the taste in the future. So our tongue is influenced, it makes mistakes. Our eyes, our nose, our skin, they're all imperfect. Our senses are very big problems. So, Prabhupada is saying, therefore, we have to accept the Vedas. All right, someone go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam.
You may call it as Hindu, but Hindu is a foreign name. We are not Hindus. Our real identification is Varnashrama. Varnashrama denotes the followers of the Vedas, those who accept the human society in 8 divisions of Varna and Ashrama. There are 4 divisions of society and 4 divisions of spiritual life. This is called Varnashrama. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.13. These divisions are everywhere because they are created by God. The divisions of society are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmana refers to the very intelligent class of men, those who know what is Brahman. Similarly, the Kshatriyas, the administrative group, are the next intelligent class of men. Then the Vaishyas, the mercantile group. These natural classifications are found everywhere. These are Vedic principles and we accept it. Vedic principles are accepted as axiomatic truth, for there cannot be any mistake. That is acceptance. For instance, in India, cow dung is accepted as pure, and yet cow dung is the stool of an animal. In one place you will find the Vedic injunction that if you touch stool, you have to take a bath immediately. But in another place it is said that the stool of a cow is pure. If you smear cow dung is an impure place, that place becomes pure. With our ordinary sense, we can argue. This is contradictory. Actually, it is contradictory from the ordinary point of view, but it is not false. It is fact. In fact, in Calcutta, a very prominent scientist and doctor analyzed cow dung and found that it contains all antiseptic properties.
Oh, thank you very much. So, Prabhupada is talking now about the importance of the Vedic injunctions. First of all, he says we're not Hindu. He says we're followers of Varnashram. And he describes how these divisions are everywhere. Can you understand how these divisions are everywhere? Could we say in America or in Africa there's Brahmins? How could we explain these divisions as being everywhere?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
This intelligent person is called as a Brahmana in other country.
An intelligent...
Like administration.
Yeah. So Brahmana is an intelligent class of man.
Yeah, the advisory man, you can say to government, this is the intelligent man, the Brahmana. Then the administrator will be the Kshatriya. Then this businessman and all you can call as a Vaishya, and working people will be Shudra.
Okay. Yeah, the working people are Shudra. The Vaishya may also do cow protection.
Cow protection.
Right? Cow protection as well as farming, as well as business. Of course, today they only like to do business. They don't like to do cow protection. They don't like to do farming. But in the past, that was more appreciated. Farming is the most pious profession. Kshatriya, the administrator. Politicians, like that. And then the Brahmana, somebody who is inclined to study and who also he has some concern for the welfare of the society, welfare of others. He thinks about the well-being of the people, how to benefit them, how to help people. This is a Brahmana. It must be clean and truthful. Should have the qualities of the Brahman. So in other countries, of course, we don't have. They're not known as Brahmins, but still they're intelligent people, and they're caring and concerned for others. They're not selfish. That's important. So this is Varnashram. Prabhupada would often say, he said, I'm the only Hindu. Because all of us, we were all Westerners, you know, they said, you can see our meeting. He said, well, because somebody would come and say, oh, you're just some Hindu society. Prabhupada would say, look, I may be Hindu, but all of these other people are not Hindu. All Western bodies, but not Hindu. They're followers of Varnashram, and they're seekers of truth. Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam, he talks about understanding the absolute truth. That's very important. But we want to know what is the truth. So different classes of people, different ashrams and different varnas, occupational duties. So these are found everywhere. And then Prabhupada talks about the Vedic principle. There cannot be any mistake. And he gives an example about the cow dung. So when we hear that cow dung, we may say, you know, the dung of the cow is very pure. So if the dung of the cow is so pure, the dung of the Brahmana should be more pure, right? The stool of the Brahmana will be more pure than the stool of the cow. That somebody may say that's logical, but that is not the Vedic principle. Right? In the Vedic injunction, it says stool is contaminated. You touch it, you have to take a bath. But the stool of the cow, that's very good. When we open the new temple, we always put the cow dung everywhere, the stool of the cow everywhere. It's very purifying. If you read 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, after Krishna killed Putana, what did Mother Yashoda do with baby Krishna to protect him? Anybody know?
The Yashoda Mata bathed Krishna with the cow urine and sprinkled with the cow dung.
Yes, very good. Yeah, she gave Krishna a bath in cow urine, and then she took the dust, the dirt which is raised by the hoofs of the cows, and she used that all over the body of Krishna. So here Prabhupada is talking about the cow dung, that it is pure. One devotee described how he was there at New Vrindavan, and he got bit by the bee. So another devotee also got bit by the bee, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to doctor, I'm going to go to hospital to get something." The one other devotee, he said, "I'll just take some cow dung." And he took some cow dung and he put it on the bite, the insect bite, the bee sting. He put it over the bee sting, and it got better quickly. But the other boy who went to the hospital, you know, he got an injection, and he was a fever for 2 days, 3 days. So the cow dung is so good. It's a real medicine. We depend on modern things, all the things they give you from the drugstore, the chemist shop, all the chemicals and things. You know, they're all waiting on the virus to protect us from the COVID. What we really need is the cow dung, the cow urine. That will really protect us. If we take care of the cows better, we may never have got this COVID. But because people are not taking care of the cows, all these things come about. So Prabhupada says, cow dung always pure. Can you give another example? Something which we think is not pure, but is pure?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we say the conch shell, which is come from the bone, which is usually, we say the bone should not be touched, or we should not be touched by this one. But conch shell is also a bone, Maharaj.
Right.
We blew with this one before the arti or the opening of the temple. Auspicious occasions we use this one.
Right. So that's another Vedic injunction. The stool of the cow is pure, and the conch shell is also pure. So this is from scripture. We go by scripture. So it's a fact.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Same thing with honey too. The bee salvia is considered as the honey, but honey is still used in the abhishekam for the lordships.
Okay. So the honey comes from the bee, and we use it for abhishek. So what are you saying, that the honey is pure?
Honey is pure, which is used for abhishek. So it is considered to be the pure form.
Yeah, there are. Nowadays there's a lot of vegan people. People in the West, it's quite popular. People are vegan, and they don't want to take any animal products. So they don't take any milk, they don't take any cheese or yogurt, and they always criticize us that we are taking these things. They don't understand that we tell them we have our own cows, we're taking care of our own cows. They say it's very bad to allow people to exploit the cow. So we agree with them. And they not only don't take milk, they don't take honey also, because they say we shouldn't take the honey. But the bees actually give the honey. The bees are not going to use the honey themselves, are they? They collect the honey, put it in the hive, but they're not going to use it themselves, so we take it and use it, offer it to Krishna. That's the real perfection of honey and milk and everything. Whatever we see, if we use them for Krishna, then there's no problem. Okay, go ahead. Next person.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
In India, if one person tells another, you must do this, the other party may say, what do you mean? Is this a Vedic injunction that I have to follow you without any argument? Vedic injunctions cannot be interpreted, but ultimately, if you carefully study why these injunctions are there, you will find that they are all correct.
Okay. So we may have some doubts, but the study, we'll see it's all correct. Go ahead, Prabhu, you can read more.
Yeah. The Vedas are not compilations of human knowledge. Vedic knowledge comes from the spiritual world. From Lord Krishna, another name for the Vedas is Shruti. Shruti refers to that knowledge which is acquired by hearing. It is not experimental knowledge. Shruti is considered to be like a mother. We take so much knowledge from our mother. For example, if you want to know who your father is, who can answer you? Your mother. If the mother says, here is your father, you have to accept it. It is not possible to experiment to find out whether he is your father. Similarly, if you want to know something beyond your experience, beyond your experimental knowledge, beyond the activities of the senses, then you have to accept the Vedas. There is no question of experimenting. It has already been experimented. It is already settled. The version of the mother, for instance, has to be accepted as truth. There is no other way.
Okay. So an important argument Prabhupada is giving, right? What's the argument? What argument is Prabhupada giving here?
Veda, for the Vedas.
Yeah, and how does he argue for the Vedas? What's it?
If you want to know something beyond your experience, beyond your experimental knowledge, beyond activities of senses, then you have to accept the Vedas. There is no question of experimenting.
And give the example. What example does Prabhupada give?
Now, if you ask who is your father, only mother can give the answer.
Yes, right. You can go to all the men, are you my father, are you my father? You may never find your father. But go to mother, she immediately knows. Right. All right, go ahead. Oh.
The Vedas are considered to be the mother.
Go ahead. Hare Krishna, what happened?
The Vedas are considered to be the mother, and Brahma is called the grandfather, the forefather, because he was the first to be instructed in the Vedic knowledge. In the beginning, the first living creature was Brahma. He received his Vedic knowledge and imparted it to Narada and other disciples and sons, and they also distributed it to their disciples. In this way, the Vedic knowledge comes down by disciplic succession. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that Vedic knowledge is understood in this way. If you make experimental endeavor, you come to the same conclusion. But just to save time, you should accept. If you want to know your father, know who your father is, and if you accept your mother as the authority, then whatever she says can be accepted without argument. There are three kinds of evidence: Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shabda. Pratyaksha means direct evidence. Direct evidence is not very good because our senses are not perfect. We are seeing the sun daily and it appears to us just like a small disk, but it is actually far, far larger than many planets. Of what value is the same? Therefore, we have to read books. Then we can understand about the sun. So direct experience is not perfect. Then there is Anumana, inductive knowledge. It may be like this, hypothesis. For instance, Darwin's theory says it may be like this, it may be like that. But that is not science. That is a suggestion. And it is also not perfect. But if you receive the knowledge from the authoritative sources, that is perfect. If you receive a program guide from the radio authority, you accept it. You don't deny it. You don't have to experiment because it is received from authoritative sources.
Thank you. So Srila Prabhupada introduces to us the three kinds of evidence. First of all, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so there are three kinds of evidence. First of all, what's the first one?
Pratyaksha.
Pratyaksha, right. Meaning what?
We can see.
Right, but the senses. So we heard, are our senses reliable? Are your senses reliable? Do you have a good memory? Everything perfect? Never make mistakes?
No.
Okay, so our senses are not reliable, right? So what's the second kind of evidence?
Second type, Anuman.
Anumana, meaning?
Inductive knowledge, it may be like this hypothesis.
Right, right. So, there's two kinds of knowledge. One is inductive, other one is deductive. What's the difference? Inductive knowledge, we're going up, we're pulling ourselves up. We're trying to understand, is this God? Is that God? Is it like this? Is it like that? We're trying to understand everything by our own brain, our limited mind and senses. But deductive knowledge coming down, taking it from an authority. Different. So Prabhupada talks about Darwin's theory. Theory, I mean no proof. It says, Prabhupada said, that is not science. It's a suggestion. He was saying, it's a suggestion, a theory. It could be like this, but that's not perfect. But if you get knowledge from the authoritative source, that is perfect. Prabhupada gives example. What does he give for the example? Authoritative source?
Radio station.
Say louder. Prabhupada gives an example. Perfect knowledge.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes.
Receiving message from the radio station authorities.
Yeah, you get the program guide, right? You get the program guide. You get the program guide. What's on the radio, or the television guide? What's on the television? You know, so that's authoritative. You accept it. We can't argue about it. So this is taking knowledge in the proper way. So 3 kinds of evidence: pratyaksha, the senses; anuman, inductive knowledge; and third one is, what's the third one?
Shabda Pranam.
Shabda Praman. Okay, go ahead, someone read that. Vedic knowledge is called?
Knowledge is called Shabda Pranam. Another name is Shruti. Shruti means that this knowledge has to be received simply by the oral reception. The Vedas instruct that in order to understand transcendental knowledge, we have to from the authority. Transcendental is knowledge from beyond this universe. Within this universe is material knowledge, and beyond this universe is transcendental knowledge. We cannot even go to the end of the universe. How can we go to the spiritual world? Thus, to acquire full knowledge is impossible.
So, Shabda Praman. Another name? Shruti. Shruti meaning?
Knowledge acquired from hearing.
Yes, right. Knowledge acquired from the hearing process. Hearing from authority. Right.
Vedas. Vedas.
Right.
From the authority.
From the Vedas, from the authorities. Right. We cannot go beyond the universe. How do we know what the spiritual world is like? We have to hear. We have to hear this knowledge. Go ahead. There is a spiritual sky.
There is a spiritual sky. That's another nature which is beyond manifestation and non-manifestation. But how will you know that there is a sky? Planets and inhabitants are eternal. All this is there. How will you make experiments? It is not possible. Therefore, you have to take the assistance of the Vedas. This is called Vedic knowledge. In our Krishna conscious movement, we are accepting knowledge from the highest authority, Krishna. Krishna is accepted as the highest authority by all classes of man. I am speaking first of the 2 classes of transcendentalists. One class of transcendentalists is called impersonalistic, Mayavadi. They are generally known as this, led by Shankaracharya. And there is another class of transcendentalists called Vaishnavas, like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami. Both the Shankaracharya Sampradaya and the Vaishnava Sampradaya have accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Shankaracharya is supposed to be an impersonalist who preached impersonalism, impersonal Brahman. But it is fact that he is a covered personalist. In his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, he wrote, Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond this cosmic manifestation. And then again he confirmed that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is Krishna. He has come as the son of Devki and Vasudeva. He particularly mentioned the names of his father and mother. So, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by all transcendentalists. There is no doubt about it. Our source of knowledge in Krishna consciousness is the Bhagavad Gita, which comes directly from Krishna. We have published Bhagavad Gita as it is because we accept Krishna as he is speaking, without any interpretation. That is Vedic knowledge. Since the Vedic knowledge is pure, we accept it, whatever Krishna says. We accept this is Krishna consciousness. That saves much time if you accept the right authority or source of knowledge. Then you have saved much time. For example, there are two systems of knowledge in the material world, inductive and deductive. From deductive, you accept that man is mortal. Your father says man is mortal, your sister says man is mortal, everyone says man is mortal, but you do not experiment. You accept it as a fact that man is mortal. If you want to research to find out whether man is mortal, you have each and every. You may come to think that there may be some man who is not dying, but you have not seen him yet. So, in this way, your research will never be finished. In Sanskrit, this process is aroha, the ascending process. If you want to attain knowledge by any personal endeavor, by exercising your imperfect, you never come to the right conclusion. That is not possible. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, so Prabhupada is giving us some logical arguments here, how to understand everything. We heard that there are two main philosophies. There's personalism and the impersonalism. But Prabhupada said they both accept Krishna. Of course, for the impersonalists, there's some differences. Impersonalists, they talk more about the Brahman. For them, ultimately, there's no manifestation. So, they have some differences in their understanding. But we take knowledge from the scriptures, from the Vedas, and Krishna is the highest authority. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita about being the highest authority? You know the verse?
Aham sarvasya prabhu Maharaj. Aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarva pravartate.
Well, that's not the verse I was thinking. I was thinking of the verse where Krishna says, "There's no truth superior to me. Everything rests." Mataparattaram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam sutram sutrimani ganaiva. There's no truth superior to me. Everything rests on me, just like pearls are strung on a thread. So this is Krishna. Only Krishna says like that. No other deva ever says like that. Lord Shiva never says that. Mother Durga, Ganesh, none of them ever say like that. But says it. He said, there's no truth superior to me. So Krishna is the highest authority. And Arjuna also said, Param Dham, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. He said, Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Prabhishmi. All the great thinkers like Asita, Devala, Narada Vyasa all accept Krishna. And Arjuna said, now I am also accepting. So Prabhupada is saying like that. So he said there are two classes of transcendentalists. One is called the devotee, the Vaishnavas, and the other are sometimes they're called Vedantists. We call them Mayavadas, but sometimes they generally like to call themselves Vedantists. And they're maybe followers of Shankaracharya, or maybe they're following Ramakrishna, like that. You know, they're jnanis sometimes. But basically they're Mayavadis. So Prabhupada said both both transcendentalists accept Krishna. Of course, they also accept many others as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only Krishna, but Krishna is certainly one. And Prabhupada quotes Shankaracharya also, that he was a covered personalist. He didn't reveal himself. He came in the Kali Yuga. It said, Mayavada asat shastram prachanam bodha mujjate. There's a verse describing the appearance, Shankaracharya, that he's preaching covered Buddhism. Buddhism in a covered form. His impersonalism. Prabhupada says here, he was also a covered personalist. Ultimately, he's personal. He had a mission. Shankaracharya's mission was to bring back the Vedas. He had to do that. He had to bring back the Vedas, and he had also to establish the Brahminical order with good quality Brahmins, because previously they had become degraded. So Shankaracharya did wonderful service like that. So Prabhupada goes on, there's no doubt Krishna is the Supreme, from Bhagavad Gita and so many statements. Vedic knowledge, we have to accept it. Two systems of knowledge, inductive and deductive. And Prabhupada gives an example of deductive. You accept man is mortal. Your father died, everybody died. Everyone says, you do not experiment. That is deductive. But inductive, we're trying to find out who's not more, who didn't die, who's still here. Right? So one way is coming down. Is it easy to come down or hard to come down? Is it easy to go up or hard to come up? Which is easiest, coming down or going up?
Going up.
Coming down is easier than going up. Going up is very hard work, but coming down is the easy part. Even coming down, going up the stairs is easy to come down, difficult to go up. So go up a rope, climb up the rope. It's easy to come down very quick, but it's a lot of work to go up. So, in the same way, Prabhupada talks about studying man's mortality, who is actually mortal. So the ascending process, aroha, ascending process is called aroha. If you want to attain knowledge by endeavor, you will never come to the right conclusion. That's the point. Aroha, the ascending process, you'll never get the answer. Go ahead. Who's next? Somebody not...
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
There is a state, Dhamma Samhita, just ride on the which runs at the speed of mind. Our material aeroplane can run 2,000 miles per hour. But what is the speed of mind? You are sitting at home. You immediately think of India, say 10,000 miles away, and at once it is in your home. Your mind gone there. The mind speed is so swift, therefore it is stated, if you travel at this speed for millions of years, find that the spiritual sky is unlimited. It is not possible even to approach it. Therefore, the conjecture is that one must approach. The word compulsory is a bona-fide spiritual master, a guru. And what is the qualification of spiritual master? He is one who rightly heard the Vedic message from the right source, and he must practically be firmly established in Brahmana. These are the two qualities he must have, otherwise he is not bona fide.
Thank you, Maharaji. So what are the two qualifications the Guru must have to be bona fide? Two qualifications, a bona fide Guru. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, please tell me two qualifications of the bona fide Guru.
Should be from a sampradaya.
So, how does Prabhupada say it here? He must have rightly heard the Vedic message. He must have heard from the right source. Yeah, as you say, from the sampradaya. He must have heard from the sampradaya. And then, another qualification?
He must be practically be firmly established in Brahman.
Okay, can you what does that mean in ordinary language?
All qualities of Brahmana. He must have all qualities of Brahman.
What? Not necessarily. No, this is Brahman, not Brahman. He must be firmly established in Brahman. What does that mean? To be firmly established in Brahman, how must he be? How is he going to be in the material world?
Pracha.
Huh? Pracha? No, the point is, if one is firmly established in Brahman, it means he's detached from
materialistic things.
Yes, he must be detached from materialistic things, right? He must be, in other words, he must be renounced. There has to be some renunciation there. He can't be, a worldly person. That's important. So those are the two qualifications. Yeah? We'll just try to finish this. Someone read the next section. This Krishna conscious movement.
Completely authorized from Vedic principles. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the actual aim of Vedic research is to find out Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita, it is also stated Krishna, Govinda, has innumerable forms. They are all one. They are not forms which are fallible. His form is infallible. My form has a beginning, but his form has no beginning. It is Ananta. And his form has so many multi-forms, has no end. My form is sitting here and not in my apartment. You are sitting there and not in your apartment. But Krishna can be everywhere at one time. He can sit down in Goloka Vrindavana, and at the same time, he is everywhere, or all pervading. He is original, the oldest. But whenever you look at a picture of Krishna, you will find a young boy 15 or 20 years old. You will never find an old man. You have seen pictures of the charioteer from the Bhagavad Gita. At that time, he was not less than 100 years old. He had great-grandchildren. He looked just like a boy. Krishna, God never becomes old. That is his supreme power. And if you want to search, and if you want, it may be possible, but it is very difficult. But you can very easily learn about him from his devotee. His devotee can deliver him to you. His devotee can deliver.
Sorry, I'm having problem with my computer here.
His devotee can deliver him to you. Here he is, take him. That is the potency of Krishna devotee.
Okay. Krishna. Krishna can, by the mercy of Krishna's devotees, we can get Krishna. Okay, so Prabhupada's making the point, Krishna is not an ordinary person. He has a transcendental body which doesn't age. And he gives the example about Krishna at the time of the battle of Kurukshetra. He was more than 100 years old. Go ahead. Prabhupada's talking now about the Vedas. Originally there was only one Veda.
Originally there was only one Veda, and there was reading it. They were so intelligent and had such worry, by once hearing from the lips of the spiritual master, they would understand. They would immediately grasp the whole purport. But 5,000 years ago, Vyasadeva put the Vedas in writing for the people in this age, Kali Yuga. He knew that eventually the people would be short-lived, their memory very poor, and their intelligence would not be very sharp. Therefore, let me teach this Vedic knowledge in writing. He divided the Vedas into 4, Rig, Sama, Atharva and Yajur. Then he gave these Vedas to his different disciples. He then thought of the less intelligent class of men, Stri, Shudra and Dvijabandhu. He considered the woman class and Shudra class, worker class, and Dvijabandhu. Dvijabandhu refers to those who are born in family who are not properly qualified. A man who is born in the family of Brahmana but is not qualified as a Brahmana, are part of. Then Vyasadeva summarized all Vedic knowledge for scholars and philosophers in what is called the Vedanta Sutra. This is the last word of the Vedas.
Okay, so Prabhupada is explaining a bit more about the Vedas here. There were 4 Vedas, and this Isopanisad is actually from Yajurveda. We'll hear later on of the 4 Vedas. This Isopanisad is from Yajurveda. And Bhagavad Gita, of course, is from Mahabharata. There are 18 Puranas. Okay, so we'll stop here. We can finish it this afternoon. We have another class this afternoon. I don't want to go over time. We'll stick to the schedule. I want you to get your